Man, you one demented son of a bitch.
You could have stopped it. Son of a bitch.
I can't understand what he's saying. They can't understand what you're saying. You want to talk.
Man, I wanted to like this movie. I wanted to. I really did.
Because this movie really is... I'm usually like the apologist guy for movies like this on the site, whether we're talking about Sabotage, Bullet to the Head. I don't think I can do that with this movie. I'm sitting in the theater like, I should like this. I should. There are pieces here that work. There are. Why is this not working? I like the first one. I loved the second one. I actually thought the second one was a better movie than the first one. I don't know. What is... This movie does not work.
It doesn't not... No.
And it's... Thank God The Giver is only 90 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say.
I don't know how much more of this I can sit through. That was long.
And it really feels it.
It felt every bit of the 2 hours and however long.
It's like 2 hours and 8 minutes. Honestly, this felt like it was 2.5 hours.
Was it? I thought it was like 2.5 hours. This movie just drug on.
Here's what happened after the movie, because before we got like every trailer in the world before this movie started.
We did.
Jake looks at me and goes, "Is this movie only an hour? Because we seem to be getting all the trailers." The movie starts, the movie ends, and I look over and I'm just like, that movie was longer than an hour, dude. Shit.
It sure was.
Man.
Oh my god.
I am sure this movie looked fine on paper. I am. I kind of, because watching it, I could see what they were doing here. Okay, it's a set of old action heroes, and then he recruits a newer set. So it's I can see what they're doing here. They're trying to make this commentary on old action movies versus new action movies, old action movie tropes versus new action movie tropes. Just running in and gunning people down versus the more tech side of the young people in it. I get that. I see what they're doing here. And then the newer action people fuck up, so the older guys come back and save the day, and by the end, they're all working together and drinking in a bar. That's the whole fucking movie.
That's the whole movie.
I get it. I see why they would think that that's a good idea. And with a much better script, that could be a good idea.
Yeah.
Without all of the... I was even an apologist for some of the in-jokes in the other movies, because some of them at least kind of made me laugh. You know, as dumb as they were, like, in the first one, Stallone saying about Arnold, like, he wants to run for president. You know, like, and even in the second one, like, Arnold saying yippee-ki-yay motherfucker and Bruce Willis saying I'll be back. Like, okay, like, I admittedly kind of smirked at those. In the second one, it did lose me with Chuck Norris showing up just to do Chuck Norris jokes. It lost me there. This one almost goes into, like, Ocean's 12 territory of stupid in-jokes.
Yeah.
They rescue Wesley Snipes from the beginning of the movie, and it doesn't quite tell us why he's in jail.
No.
Why do you think he was in jail? He mentions tax evasion.
They just straight up, like, they ask him, what were you in jail for?
Tax evasion.
Oh.
Oh, just don't do that. The worst one though was because at the last minute, Harrison Ford replaced Bruce Willis, and so when Harrison Ford shows up for the first time, and Stallone's like, I was expecting the other guy, and Harrison Ford goes, you don't have to worry about him. He's not in the picture anymore. And I mean, I will say that, like, if you didn't know that that's an in-joke, it's not like you're gonna be sitting there confused by that, because, okay, if you don't know that that's an in-joke, you know, it'll make sense in context to what he's talking about. It will, but knowing that it's an in-joke kind of hurts. It's not a very good one.
No.
And I'm sorry, I do not need to see Harrison Ford flying a helicopter and saying, "Drummers in the house."
Drummers in the house.
I liked our slow look at it, like, after that. Harrison Ford does not need to talk like that.
No, he doesn't.
Unless he is just literally talking about something that's in his house. That's the only time Harrison Ford needs to be talking about that. Why did this movie work?
I don't know, man. Like you said, on paper, if somebody were to throw this concept at me, like, I got an idea for this action movie, and they tell me that,
Yeah.
I can get behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it gets executed.
Very badly.
Very poorly. Like, I couldn't help but just not give two shits during this entire flick. Because this group of mercenaries is the single worst group of mercenaries in the history of mercenaries. Like, these guys are terrible at their job.
I don't know.
The one really successful mission they had in this entire movie was breaking Wesley Snipes out of prison train. That was the one real successful thing they did, because, like, they break Wesley Snipes out of prison train. He's being transported to someone, somewhere.
What was he, a dictator?
I have no idea. Like there's this big ass picture of the dude that I guess Wesley Snipes has a beef against.
Yeah.
But it's presented like the old Soviet Union kind of propaganda that we used to see. Like, you know, instead of a picture of that guy, it would have been, you know, a picture of Lenin or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, just that particular guy being displayed. And I don't understand why. They don't tell us who the hell this dude is, what he does. You know,
they call him the Tax Man.
Oh, God! His name is Erwin R. Shyster.
Shit!
Man, I feel bad about myself for saying that.
Well, they had Wesley Snipes bound and gagged, and they're like he was Hannibal Lecter.
Like he was Hannibal Lecter. Like,
did he eat somebody? What the fuck?
What the hell did you do? And so, like, they break him out. He goes rogue for a second, gets to the front of the train, kills a bunch of people, speeds the train up, goes to this gun that's at the front of the train.
Yeah.
Not really sure why, but all right. There's this big-ass gun at the front of the train, and then he's just shooting into this big fortress building where the train is going. In the middle of nowhere, like the train tracks end at this building. Where the hell are we?
It looked like... Yeah, it was very kind of concentration camp looking.
It was.
Like this train
comes in. That train don't come back out. This is a one-way trip, man. So he speeds the train up, and they get him off, and it cuts to the dictator. I don't know who he is, the general dude, and he's just I'm expecting this prisoner. Train over.
That's your opening scene.
That's the opening scene. That's the one successful thing they did this entire fucking movie.
Yeah.
Was breaking Wesley Snipes out of prison train.
I never really quite understood, other than plot convenience, because Harrison Ford he gives Sylvester Stallone his mission, which is to basically bring to justice, not kill him, but bring him to The Hague. Mel Gibson, who is a former expendable who wounds Terry Crews, which that was a mistake right there. If you're going to write one of these guys, one of the older guys, out for a majority of the movie, Not Terry Crews. He's one of the better ones there.
know.
Randy Kocher, please.
Please shoot him.
Yeah.
Why didn't you shoot him?
Yeah.
Why can't we have terrible Terry?
We already have one black guy.
We
get him, too.
We can.
That's pretty racist there, boss.
God.
Man. So, they're ordered to bring him in. They're not ordered to kill him, but he's committed a bunch of war crimes. He deals in, like, arms, nuclear arms, art, and...
That was so weird.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that either. There's a scene where you see him, like, you learn that the guy that they're going after, which they bumble the fuck out of that one.
Yeah.
But the guy that they're going after is Mel Gibson, the former Expendable. And Sylvester Stallone, like, loses his mind and starts shooting, and then there's this big giant shootout.
Mm-hmm.
Stupidity.
Yeah,
But
it goes on for a while.
It goes on forever. Like, way too long.
Yeah.
Way too long. Even for an over-the-top, campy action film, which is supposed to be, that scene went way too long. And then Gibson shows up, shoots Cruz, wounds him, everybody's sad.
Yeah, last night I saw Beverly Hills Cop, which has a much better villain in it that deals in art.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, it does. And then, like, so they're freaking out about Terry being shot.
Yeah.
He's in the hospital, and, I hope this ring brings you luck. Gives him his lucky ring, and then it cuts to Mel Gibson, who's buying a piece of art, and he's like, looking at it like, I don't get it.
I don't get why this costs $3 million.
I don't get why this costs $3 million. It's a dirty canvas with some paintbrushes on it.
All right, write it down.
All right, write it down. I'll take it. And then he leaves.
And it's supposed to be like this kind of serious thing with their friend who's been shot and is in the hospital. And that is when it immediately cuts to the in-joke about Bruce Willis not being in the movie anymore. But, I mean, the scene with Harrison Ford kind of made it up a little, because Harrison Ford was quite good in that scene. He's given the only F-bomb in the movie. He used it pretty well.
He used it good.
He seemed to quite enjoy that scene a little bit. But I don't understand why he had to get rid of his old team.
That makes no fucking sense.
Thank you. I didn't get that
made
either.
No sense. Like, all right, so Cruz gets shot. You see Mel Gibson being extravagant for no reason. Like,
yeah, just walking around.
In his big ass house and looks at the camera menacingly, then goes back inside.
Yeah.
It just doesn't need to be there. God.
Except just to show us that he's still in the movie.
He's in the movie. He's the bad guy. So, like, there's a scene at the bar where Sylvester Stallone fires his group of his current team.
Dolph Lundgren.
Statham, Lundgren.
Kocher, Randy Kocher, and...
Yeah, and then, Wesley Snipes.
Oh, yeah.
Duh. So he fires them, and then immediately calls Kelsey Grammer to get a new team.
This sequence was pretty good.
Oh no, Kelsey Grammer was great.
Kelsey Grammer really rocks
awesome.
in this.
He was great in this movie.
There's a scene in the movie that's probably the funniest scene in the movie.
Oh my God!
It's Kelsey Grammer having this like serious moment about talking to Sylvester Stallone about how he now has cancer. And I'm not saying that this is unintentionally funny. It ends in a joke, and the joke is actually pretty funny. I'm sitting there like, God damn, I love Kelsey Grammer.
Like he's driving and he's eating an apple.
Yeah. And
he looks over at Sylvester and he starts, talking about life regret.
Yeah.
Like the 2 ex-wives and the 3 kids he'll never see. And he was like, and I went to the doctor and they found a black mass on my lungs. Mm-hmm. Sylvester, oh man, that sucks. and so Kelsey goes into like this heartfelt kind of regret
it's really
speech,
good.
And how that he's just trying to make a bunch of money so he can give it to them, so he doesn't seem like such a fuck up in his own eyes. Like it's this way of repenting to these people that he'll never be able to see. At least he could take care of them after death. And then there's this pause, and he has the apple right here. And then he looks over his slide. His slide's like, yeah, it's really bad to hear. And he goes, None of that's true. I was just messing with you.
None of that is true. I'm just messing with you.
I was just messing with you.
There's some good jokes.
It's like, I had you going there, didn't I? Hike. That was awesome.
That was genuinely really funny.
But yeah, I mean, you're absolutely. What the fuck was the point of getting the new team?
And getting rid of the
not
old
even,
team.
Not even getting the new team. I can understand that. Why did you have to fire the old team to get the new team? Just send this new team of rookies to go after a dude who used to ride with you, who is now an arms dealer.
Yeah.
You're going to go into his house with a group of untrained, well, not necessarily untrained, but unexperienced individuals.
Yeah.
That's a bad idea.
One of them is a bouncer, and one of them is good at motorcycles. The other is good at, like, tech stuff.
Tech stuff?
You know he is because his nickname in the movie is Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And so...
Like, the only useful one out of that is the tech dude.
Oh, yeah, he actually comes in handy quite a bit.
He comes in very handy.
There's no... I mean, I get why, for the story that they want to have for this movie, why he gets rid of the older guys, and they say, you know, hey, our time is past, blah, 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 and I'm kind of sitting there like, okay, I get it. I get the symbolism you're doing here, for the love of God. Just be a fucking movie.
Yeah.
I get the symbolism. I get the real-life in-jokes. I get the fucking internet meme references that they're fucking making here. Just stop! Be a fucking movie! Like, the other, like, okay, yeah, this is shit that was... This was shit that happened in some of the other ones too, but the other ones at least still felt like a fucking movie. This movie is the equivalent of an Arnold movie where he literally just says, I'll be back for 90 minutes and does nothing else.
No.
He says get to the choppas so many times in this movie. I get it. I fucking get it.
God.
Stop this. Okay, you can have this and still be a movie. Just please be a movie.
Oh my God.
And so I get why, for story reasons, that they're splitting up. The problem is that they just didn't know how to get there.
The execution of the team breaking up was done poorly.
Jesus Christ! Yeah,
like, it made no sense.
It seemed, and having seen the other movies and having quite enjoyed the other movies, it also seemed like something that the Barney Ross that we know in the other movies would not have done,
right?
Or at least quite that cold. It seemed largely out of character for something so trite and so just convenient to the plot. And another problem too, and I was thinking about this through the movie, and I was like, maybe this is another reason why this doesn't work. The young people in the movie are not good. The young people in the movie have no charisma. They aren't really good with each other. They don't speak this action movie dialogue very well. They just don't really work. So you're spending a lot of time with these younger action people in the movie who aren't nearly as good as the people who we should be seeing. The people who we paid to go see in this movie. Your Jason Stathams, your Dolph Lundgrens, your Wesley Snipes. Not the guy from Twilight. You know?
Is that who that was?
The guy with the motorcycle. He was one of the guys. He was Hercules in that Legend of Hercules.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he's better in this than he was in Hercules, but you know, if you're gonna try to do this old versus new action thing, get better examples of younger action people. I mean, at least...
Do we have better examples of younger action people?
I could have seen, like, in the female part, like Michelle Rodriguez. Michelle Rodriguez, I think, would have been fine in terms of... I was thinking about that in the movie, and I was like, well, yeah, I mean, I can think of some younger action people, but by younger, like 40.
I was gonna say, like, I don't think there's very many, like, 20, 30-ish year old younger, I guess, actors that... Who else are they gonna put?
I mean, I'm thinking off the top of my head. I mean, there's got to be. I mean, throw like Scott Adkins in there or something,
okay.
or I'm trying to think off of the top of my head. Fuck. But
Maybe that was the same problem.
maybe it is. Maybe that is. Michelle Rodriguez and Scott Adkins said no.
I guess. Nope. Oh, fuck it. Find this blonde chick. I don't know who the hell she was.
Me neither. She's the best bouncer we got. Really? I mean, I don't. She's not a very. She's a good bouncer in the same way that they're good mercenaries.
Yeah.
There's a shoving match that happens, so she just decides to break a bottle.
So she
on the
breaks a
face.
bottle on the motherfucker's face. Thanks. It's not really the job of the bouncer, but all right.
All right, whatever. Whatever. Kelsey Grammer was in that scene, so he made up for it.
He made up for it. He was great. Man.
And also, the direction in this movie is terrible. Is really bad. I'm not 100%. I can't remember the guy's name who directed this fucking movie. Man, not only do the action sequences in this movie go on long, you cannot fucking tell what the fuck is going on. There's probably... It's a mixture of an action director who really doesn't work, and when you have an action director like this who isn't really doing the job very well, and directing an action sequence that involves about 20 main characters, wow.
Yeah.
Like, boy, Jesus Christ. And, like, I'm watching this, like... If I want to see a good example of an action scene kind of like this, in a setting a lot like this, one of the Universal Soldier, where they brought back Dolph Lundgren with Van Damme back in it again, was phenomenally better shot than this. This, I couldn't tell. 1 minute a guy's in an elevator shaft. 1 minute the guy's chasing after his motorcycle. Another minute Stallone is here. Then he's here. Then here's Arnold. Here's Harrison Ford.
There's Harrison Ford.
Here's there. 1 minute they're on this floor. 1 minute they're in the
They're down
basement.
here, like-
Fucking Christ!
You're absolutely right. Like, that whole ending part was just so fucking weird.
It was the same with the beginning part, too.
Well, yeah.
It had the same problems in that sequence, too. And a huge problem with this, too, is succumbing to this PG-13 rating that it has. Because some movies just need to be an R. Some movies are just written as an R. The tone is an R. The violence is an R. Some movies just need to be an R. And this movie is obviously cut for a PG-13 in this, at least in the, and I'm not even talking about like, oh, they just took the CGI blood out. I'm not even talking about that. Like, yeah, people get shot and there's zero blood. So sure, when you see this movie on DVD, when it'll be uncut, it'll be a lot of fucking CGI blood. And this movie, it makes you, you know, you kind of wonder, like, what is worse, like, cutting to a PG-13 or CGI blood? Because both are really fucking distracting, and both really take you out of the movie. And I'm gonna have to go with cutting to a PG-13 is worse, because not only is it that just people are just not bleeding in this movie, but there are parts where people are obviously getting stabbed, where people are obviously supposed to be getting their neck broken, they're supposed to be getting their throat cuts, and it's like you're watching it edited for television. It's, you know where parts are cut out. You can tell clear as day what parts are either cut out or they just shot in a really, really amateurish way so they wouldn't have to show anything. It completely takes you out of the fucking movie. I'm sorry, some stuff is just PG, it's just R-rated material, and this is it, you know? I get why the studio wanted to make this a PG-13. I do, because because the R-rated Stallone and Schwarzenegger movies that were out didn't do very well. A lot of R-rated movies.
PG-13 movies make more money.
Well, I've never been of the opinion that the difference between a PG-13 and an R makes the difference between a hit and a bomb. I think that
Agreed. I agree with that.
But the studios don't think that.
No, but the studios do know that they can promote it to a wider audience at a PG-13 than they can an R.
Well,
And I agree with you. This movie is obviously should have been an R. It would have been
With that being said, I still don't think this would have been.
It really wouldn't have. No,
Yeah.
it wouldn't have been any good. But at least it wouldn't have jarred you out of the scene as much as the non-blood stuff. Because I mean, there was like that scene with Wesley Snipes where he commandeers like the shipping crate thing.
Yeah.
And like, there's that kid or the younger dude who's on the crane operating it. He just kind of puts his arm over his shoulder, and this big ass blade comes over and just. Whoosh.
Yeah, it was like watching a Friday the 13th
But it was
on USA Network.
And then you see like the sword go like this, and then just terrible cut, and then cut back, and he's in the chair.
Yeah.
Just show the blood and the progression of that. You know, it would have looked better. But like,
well, and okay, like, you know, Bullet to the Head bombed, Last Stand bombed, so did Escape Plan, but also so did Grudge Match, and that was a PG-13. And you know, people get, you know, our society, they get the ratings that we deserve. You know, here's the thing. I mean, believe me, I was upset when this was a PG-13, but I kind of hoped it would have been at least shot better and not as distracting. And it's very distracting.
Yeah, because I mean, they could have done it as a PG-13, but still made it good.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And if people really, if you want R-rated action, go see R-rated action. Go see it. Like, support R-rated action movies. Support movies like Dredd. You know, support movies like that.
Dredd was fun.
Yeah, Dredd is a fantastic movie, and R is fuck.
Yeah, it is.
You know, go support movies like that. When movies like that don't get supported, and movies like that don't do very well, at the box office at least, here's what you get. You get a PG-13 Expendables movie. You know?
I guess
if R-rated, if comedies can still succeed as at R-rated movies, which they do all the goddamn time, so can action movies. They just need to make more of them.
It should be just action movies were supposed to be predominantly R. Because they're action movies. There's explosions, there's gunplay, there's shooting, there's cussing, there's men being men, there's women being scantily clad, there's sex. That's what is an action movie, you know, is supposed to be geared towards men. So throw all the shit that guys like. Explosion, titties, and beer. There you go. Like, that's what the old recipe used to be, and the old recipe worked great. Now we're throwing in, all right, cover the titties, drink Wawa, and no blood. And this isn't what I want to see.
Boo!
Boo! No tatas, no thanks.
No es bueno, bro.
No es bueno, bro.
Wait, who said bro? Somebody said bro.
Somebody said bro.
Was it Stallone?
No, it was, who the fuck said bro? It was right at the end where I looked over. I was like, did he just say bro?
I swear he just said bro.
Was it Harrison Ford?
I don't think it was. I swear it was Stallone.
God damn it.
I thought it was Stallone, but someone was, like, we'll be right there, bro, or you're welcome, bro, or whatever.
Bro? Did someone say bro? What's up, bro?
Oh, we turned it into a bro movie now?
Oh, man, my brodar went off. I got a bro nearby.
Maybe that part didn't take me out quite as much because it was right after Harrison Ford saying "into house."
Oh God,
Jesus! Oh my God,
that was so bad. This movie's full of so many terrible puns. I don't like puns. I really don't. I see you're all tied up at the moment. Ah! Shut up, Mel.
That's Christmas is
here.
But this is July.
But we in July.
I mean, there are decent things about it. Like, some of the acting is just fine. Like, it looks like these guys are like, or at least most of them anyway, like the other movies, it seems like they're having a good time together when they give them enough screen time.
Yeah, Antonio Banderas had a blast. He was my personal favorite character.
He is great.
He was awesome.
He's having a lot of fun in this movie. I haven't seen him have this much fun since, like, Assassins. Like,
right?
He is having a blast in this.
He sure did. He had a jolly good time.
This little cartoon character running around, like just like spitfiring stuff out left and right, left and right. He was having a blast.
He was
in
having
this.
so much fun.
Wesley Snipes looked like he was having fun.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. I'm with you. Like Antonio Banderas was my favorite here.
It is
like,
by far my favorite.
when he was on screen, the movie did get kind of magic. Like
It started to get a little bit tolerable now.
Yeah.
I like you, Antonio.
It was parts like that where I'm like, some of this works, but fuck, a lot of it doesn't.
So much of it don't.
Mel Gibson was really good.
Mel Gibson was good.
Like when it's like a half hour into the movie and like when he actually starts talking and isn't just kind of standing there like with evil grimaces on his face, he's quite good. Quite honestly, honestly, I liked him better than the villains in the first one. I still think my favorite might be Van Damme in the second one, though, as the bad guy in that who just kicks a knife into a dude's chest. There was Liam Hemsworth, too. And Liam Hemsworth, kind of like in this, where it's like, yeah, the young guy was the worst part of it, but at least in that movie, they got rid of him like 20 minutes in.
Done. I'm done with you.
Yeah, Van Damme kicking a knife into his chest. But Mel Gibson is given a lot more screen time than the villains in a lot of the other ones, and he's having fun. He is having a lot of fun. Although, man, given his personal life, I was waiting for like a bad in joke to pop up in this. What can I say? I'm responsible for the world's wars. Like, wow, they went there.
Wolf.
Or he calls his ex-girlfriend and screams at her for a few minutes. Like, or I don't know about you, but I was waiting for like an awful Mel Gibson in-joke to pop up.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm surprised they didn't.
I kind of am too, a little, like I am and I'm not. I'm not in the sense that like, wow, that would have been bad, but what the fuck, they reference Wesley Snipes' tax evasion shit.
Him
like,
going to jail, so fucking anything could be talked about.
I just, man, I don't, it's so, I can't, I love these guys so much. I mean, I do consider myself relatively a Stallone apologist. Same with Arnold, same with a lot of guys in this. And because of that, it's like, I don't necessarily want Stallone to have another bomb on his hands, but I can't recommend this.
Stallone's got another bomb on his hands.
I mean, the theater there was people in there.
There was some people in there, but I didn't hear anybody really enjoying themselves.
No, the only part that I heard anybody really laugh or anything was the part that we laughed at.
Yeah,
I mean, I laughed at the end. I liked the line at the end where Stallone goes, "I am the Hague."
I am the Hague.
I kind of liked that.
Man.
I liked it.
I know you did. I know you did.
I enjoyed that.
I was telling Brad, like, because there's, like, the end of the movie, like, Mel and Sylvester Stallone are doing the final fight sequence, which starts at the bottom of, like, a 20-story hotel.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
a 20-story abandoned hotel is where this the big fight takes place.
The big fight that's like 30 seconds.
Like, that final fight was pretty quick. As compared to the lead up to it with tanks and
I couldn't fucking tell what was going on.
That was so hectic and chaotic.
Christ.
So there's like this final fight. All right, Mel crashes into like the lobby of this hotel.
Yeah.
So you honestly have, like, you think Sylvester Stallone's like 2 floors from the roof. So let's say he's on floor 18.
Yeah.
About, like, let's say floor 18. Mel crashes into the lobby. And now suddenly, Sylvester Stallone is like, like, she's right there now. You don't really know how that happened.
And that, and that's...
And not only that, like, the battery, the tech dude stopped, like, the building is rigged with C4. He uses this contraption thingy to override, blah, 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 tech talk. He stops the detonation, at least temporarily. They got 25 minutes. I guess is how long this action scene is, because it felt like 45 minutes.
fucking Christ, it
But
did.
they got 25 minutes now before the big battery dies, and then the C4 will go off. Building collapse. So, fight. Like, and then there's like the end where Sylvester. Actually, no. You know what? I take that back, because he is like right below the helicopter, because he's
running
shuffling them in. Like,
yeah.
go. Mm-hmm. And then he suddenly just ends up at the fucking lobby of this hotel to fight Mel Gibson.
And that's just another example of just seemingly bad editing in this, because okay, if that was like really the only time that kind of happened in this, I'd be like, oh, well, okay, it's all right, whatever.
It isn't.
Sure, but it's not. It's an example of everything that is happening in this scene. Stuff like that keeps happening in this, to where it isn't just that you're sitting there kind of laughing at just this silly action movie going on. It is just simply confusing to watch.
Yeah, it is. So they have this big fight. Sylvester Stallone wins.
The one with him and Van Damme
But-
is so much better. It ended with him literally holding up Van Damme's severed head at the end of it.
Yeah, no, we didn't have that one.
No,
So there's the right before the fight, he's shuffling them through, like, get to the top. Arnold shows up and he goes, get to the chopper. Like, you knew he was one of
says
the,
that like
three
times
times
in
he
it.
says it in this movie. And so they start going in there and they climb into the helicopter, and one of them, I don't know who, like, looks to Harrison Ford and is like, hey, where did you learn to fly? And he mumbles something Harrison Ford-y, and you don't really hear it. And, like, after the movie, I looked at Brad because of all this terrible in-jokes that this movie had. I'm surprised that the scene didn't end with him going, hey, how did you learn to fly? And Harrison Ford just going, Air Force One. That is how bad and obvious these in-jokes are. And yeah, I actually didn't see Expendables 2. I meant to, but I haven't. But I did see the first one. I liked the first one. I thought it was fun.
I thought the first one was very
there were
fun.
a lot of in-jokes in that one, too, but
It still felt like a movie.
it felt like a movie. It worked within the movie. It felt like a movie. This, I don't really know what the hell this was. A bunch of chaos is what it was.
Yeah.
Chaos and terrible
special effects.
Terrible.
Oh my god. Like, this movie CGI's a parachute.
Yeah.
It CGI's badly. Like, I'm sorry, there's just something wrong with seeing these guys standing in front of CGI helicopter explosions. Like, there just is. This isn't, no. Yeah, and the other ones, had like some questionable CGI in it too, but I at least kind of looked past it to an extent and still kind of enjoyed the movies for the stuff in them that I liked. This one is just full of... The action isn't even shot well in this. The action is not choreographed well.
It's not.
The special effects look... I'm sorry, like, I've seen better special effects in Asylum movies. In fact, there's an Asylum knockoff of this that's called Mercenaries. It's an all-female cast. I'm willing to bet that is probably a lot more well-made than this movie. I'll bet you it's a better movie, too. I don't know, I could eat my words on that, but, like, I don't know, I kind of want to see that. It's got Cynthia Rothrock in it, and Brigitte Nielsen, and Zoe Bell. Right on. I can kind of dig that. They're female mercenaries who take care of a hostage situation at a women's prison.
Yeah, I'm there.
I'm like, okay.
All right, let's do this.
Yeah. I want that to be better than this movie.
All right, let's go for it.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
So, I can't... I don't know. Maybe if this thing comes out on video and it's uncut... Maybe give it a watch on video. If you like this, I don't know.
I can't even suggest that. I would just stay away from this thing.
Well, maybe if it's maybe if it's uncut, maybe it'll be a little less distracting.
You're the eternal optimist, you know that.
Well, I would think it would be a little less distracting in the sense that at least, like, we would actually see throats get cut.
Agreed.
In terms of stuff like that, but if you're gonna look, if you're a fan of these movies like I am, you're just gonna see it regardless of what anyone says about it.
Yes, that is true.
And so if you do see this, don't go higher than like a rental on it.
No.
Just don't.
Don't buy this.
No, just watch the first one again. Watch the second one again. Watch Escape Plan. That was fun. I kind of like The Last Stand. All right. It's at least it's better than Grudge Match.
Hey! All right. See, look, that is a positive review right there.
It had
You're just gonna take all of what we said right before that out and put ... It's better than The Grudge.
Better than the Grudge with Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I haven't seen The Grudge since that came out. Yeah, this movie didn't have jokes in it about BJ standing for butterscotch jelly beans. 4 stars. God damn.
Man, I forgot about that.
The butterscotch jelly beans.
Butterscotch jelly beans.
Fuck Grudge Match. I don't know. Maybe now I am gonna recommend this movie.
Man, I still wouldn't.
No, me neither. I want to, believe me. I want to. I do. I'm the guy who said, like, I don't know, go check out Bullet to the Head if you want. It's like, I just can't. I really can't. It's just, too much of it doesn't work. I'm not gonna lie, like I said earlier, there is a few things about it that do, some of the characters, but it's just mixed in with shit that just doesn't. For every good character in this movie, there's about 3 shitty ones. And even people who just have nothing to do. Like Robert Davi is on the poster for this thing. He shows up in one scene just to go like, I want nuclear weapons, essay, or something like that.
Oh,
that's it.
The buyer.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So okay, that could have been anybody. That to say those 2 lines that he had. Jet Li shows up for like a couple minutes. And it really seemed to suggest that he and Arnold were sleeping together. At the end
Yeah, I
of
was
this
about
movie.
to ask you that. Are they a gay couple?
Because that's awesome.
Because that's really, really fucking awesome. Like, that's amazing. Like, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jet Li, that is the most adorable gay couple ever. That is fucking awesome. That's exactly what they led it, too, because he was even like, oh, he's funny.
Yeah.
Like, are you two a couple?
I hope they explore that in the next.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Maybe Jet Li gets kidnapped and Arnold goes nuts.
Oh, please.
Oh, please,
Please
God,
let that happen.
this happen.
Oh, my God.
I can immediately get behind Expendables 4.
Yeah. All right, well, ready to go see The Giver?
Sure, why the fuck not?
At least let's hope we can tell what's going on in this.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll be back momentarily in 97
like
minutes.
97 minutes. Man.
Bye.
Bye!